3, 2, 1. Unpause. 7, 8, 9, 10.
Yeah.
We are live. Well, Havoc and I are live, watching a grudge match, a rivalry that we've wanted to see for a really bloody long time. It's Orangepest, the de facto world champion, playing from the south as United States Forces. It's Zulu, playing from the north as the Wehrmacht, and I've got Havoc with me. How are you doing today, good sir?
I'm so excited about these matches. I've been waiting to see these two play for such a long time. Both just like so strong, so decisive, so sharp. I'm really interested to see how Zulu is going to handle Orangepest because, in my experience, Orangepest, he's like great at making and going for those killing blows and tilting his opponents. And Zulu is just like, my experience has been, he's the player that never tilts. No matter what you throw at him, he's on top of it. So I can't wait to see these games.
He's cool, calm, collected, and ready to go. And Orangepest is using a unit you touted, Havoc, as having some big improvements this patch. He's got the 4x4 Willys Jeep, rocking around with that alien-like suspension. What's making this Jeep a better choice now?
The additional 0.5 armor is really substantial for the Jeep. It was pretty fragile in the previous patch, so I think with the additional armor, it's also made a great bully for these coastal reserves that are quite weak out of cover. So I think we're going to see Orangepest making great use of this aggressively early on.
Some of that Company of Heroes 1 style pushing, and that's where Zulu comes from, by the way. Orangepest touts him as the best Company of Heroes 1 player to make the transition to this new game. So let's see if that's what's going to happen. We're going to see some pushing from behind cover. And let's see if this Jeep, which, by the way, has already suffered some early damage, just getting caught out by the coastals there. Let's see if it's able to find the Kettengrad.
Yeah, I think he's had a hard time finding it. There's an interesting, we'll call it a feature for now, where if you're reversing the Ketten around, it's very difficult to hear in the fog of war. So I'm sure Zulu's acutely aware of that and hiding it very well from the Jeep at this opener.
Actually, it is a feature because historically the Kettengrads had a carburetor issue where the oil would kind of swamp the engine when it was reversing, so it would heavily decrease the noise the pistons would make.
That's quite the fact.
You believe me or not? I'm like waiting.
You were speaking with such conviction. You know what? I was inclined to believe you.
I'm dead inside, so I'm very good at lying. I'm very good at lying. It's why my wife thinks I'm a good person still. I don't know how she thinks that, but anyway. Orangepest with 2 scouts as well. One thing he likes about he's got airborne battle group though, so he can convert them to pathfinders. So yeah, they're pathfinders now, I guess.
Yeah, Pathfinders provide really great combat power early on, as well as utility through their smokes and rifle grenades. Great supporting unit for the rifle front line, and Orangepest is going to have a lot of field presence in the early game to match this coastal reserve play.
Somebody asked in chat, is this a best of 3 or a best of 5? It is indeed a best of 5. It's for the inaugural World Heavyweight Championship of Company of Heroes. We've got Orangepest, who's kind of the lineal champion, and Zulu, somebody we never got to see fight him in a Master League situation. Early mine there planted by the Wehrmacht, presumably by coastals. There's a lot of mines on this coastal doctrine, isn't there?
Yeah.
Havoc.
Yeah, the coastal wall, which is most likely the option that we're going to see from Zulu, allows for much cheaper mine construction. And with those reserves having plus 50% construction speed, he's going to be dropping those things everywhere.
Yeah. Kind of makes going engineer for US so important to get those minesweepers out.
I wouldn't be surprised if we see it as the next unit for Orangepest.
Yeah, it's a good shout. It's bringing that engineer about 5 to 10 minutes earlier into the game. Probably going to go sweepers on it as well. Yep, some decent pressure by Orangepest so far. Zulu's trying to hold his own, but Orangepest has that micro edge over pretty much everybody at the moment. Kettengrad just about surviving.
Ooh.
Can you see it, Havoc? Now you're watching in replay mode. Do you see the small things he does that makes him that much better than everybody else?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, I can feel it even more when I'm playing against him. He's just so tight with his micro. It's really hard to keep him on his toes, and overwhelm him.
So Prime Isildur is very good at that. It was just a marked, slight difference in how he played with how tight, as you called it, how tight his unit control was when he pushed with his infantry and the directions he came at you from. Ooh, nice use of the Pathfinder grenade there.
Yeah, great grenade. This is also the power of the Pathfinder, just being able to provide that vision, allowing you to set up as the USF player for making those aggressive plays and flanking the machine guns. Seeing some crazy map control right now in Orangepest, and this is to be expected from this airborne build.
He's all over the map. He's got the cutoffs. He's just about getting all the fuels bar 1+5, and it's not looking too good.
Jeep catching the Ketten up on the North VP. Looks like he's going to get out safely.
Jeep does a the Kettenkrad does a donut in order to confuse the Jeep. That's a common strategy, apparently. Yeah, I'm really hoping that Zulu is able to offer a huge challenge to Orangepest in this best of 5. Because when I asked Orangepest at the last weekend who could challenge you out there, he said, "Oh yeah, Zulu, maybe Havoc." So if this is who Orangepest thinks could challenge him, and it's not a very competitive best of 5, I mean, people have got some training to do, surely. What do you think?
I know both of them have been playing quite a bit. Pretty well practiced on this new map, Villa Fiore. I have to say, I disagree a little bit with Zulu's battle group choice. He decided to opt for the officer selection instead of designate defensive line in the early game. If you can get that munitions point on the north side with your designate defensive line, it becomes really difficult to dislodge some of those coastal reserve squads, especially with the support of the officer coming later on. I think definitely a very strong ability. So hopefully we can see Zulu start to regain some ground here. And once he gets that designate defensive lineup, he should be in a good spot to take some control of the top side. But that's a big if he's going to be able to get up that hill.
I actually watched Dexen offer an interesting strategy against Coastals earlier today with Special Forces of the United States with the Hack Howitzer into Whizbang. It was really surprising. I mean, the M1AT guns did do most of the work, I'm not going to lie, but still interesting regardless. There we go, an anti-tank grenade goes in on the 221, which has a difficult reversal path past the flatbed of that truck, and there are bars engaged.
Looks like he might be able to get out across this road, but that Pioneer's in danger.
Just about
he does manage to get out. Yeah.
Right, Zulu's trying to fight back now. He's using coastals to flank this rifle's heavy cover position, and he's
in a tough spot.
He really is.
He's very outgunned right now with the bars. Orangepest finding a lot of great green cover positions, and that Pathfinder up on the hill just providing vision of everything. He's allowed to respond to Zulu's movements very easily.
Let's get some fog of war showing that Orangepest can see lots of entry points into the Villa complex right now. How about you, Havoc? Do you feel like you could get into the tournament scene when it kind of starts to re-emerge in January? There's a lot of tournament organisers that are trying to organise their first tournaments. Have they been in contact with you, perhaps?
Yeah. I think there's one happening mid or end of January that I'm excited about. I enjoyed, playing some of those show matches with Dumais yesterday. Looking forward to Whole Body sharing those later this afternoon. I'm eager to see the tournament scene start to grow. I'm a competitor by nature. I played a little bit in CoH3, never really made it past the first round, and I think I played in one of the GCS tournaments.
I do recall your name. I do recall round one competitor, Unfortunately for yourself. You've improved so much in the auto match scene. It is a difficult transition to go from that auto match style to just getting those extra gears to compete when players are playing their absolute best.
Yeah, and with players, doing research and reading up on their opponents, and also, having access to people's streams where you can see what do they typically build, how do they typically play a map. That extra preparation really comes into the tournament games.
M1AT going to set up 2-2-1's just on the edge of it. It's going to keep pushing. Going ass first and gets a huge shot through its center and then gets AT grenade.
He's going to take that grenade, yeah. Looks like Zulu's really just trying to fish and get himself some space on this hill, but backfired for him with that 2-2-1.
These outer moves, good luck,
Yeah.
good GG, well played has been called. Yeah, let's go over to game 2 in this series. Can we
It's a
pinpoint
tough game for Zulu.
It was really tough. Can we pinpoint the exact moment it all fell apart? Was it just the MG or was it more than that?
The MG was definitely a big contributor because that's the majority of your firepower when you're going coastal reserves in the early game, and that in addition to the 2-2-1. But we also saw the 2-2-1 come out very late because of his relatively weak map control early on. I think if he had aggregated his forces around that top north munitions point in the early game and got that designate defensive lineup, he would have been able to start to branch out and build an advantage, just because the healing and defensive bonuses you get from that ability are so powerful, and not having access to that and then losing control of the center hill to the pathfinders and riflemen, like he's not going to be able to retake that with coastals. So I think that was really, and then Orangepest just started to extend his lead at that point with bars and everything.
Yeah, let's see how he does as allies though. I mean, maybe allies is more his thing. Maybe coastal is not quite his play style. It's not everybody's, that's for certain. So we're going to flip the sides around now. We're going to go over to the game. Really need to get that on there we go. And let's correct the scores. You will notice, by the way, that the UI is bugged in this replay. We can't do anything about that. I am sorry, but it is just the way it is. And things will always be the same. Okay, Havoc. I think we're ready to rock and roll. I'm at 4 seconds.
I'm with you.
3, 2, 1. Play. 5, 6, 7, 8.
Yeah.
Right, watching a very Swiss cast this time because both players are apparently neutral. I don't quite know how that's going to work out. And I don't know how we're going to cast it. We're going to try our best for you. It's going to be really weird. We might as well cast like in cinematic mode because it really doesn't matter. We have no clue what's going on. Because Havoc, you've had this bug before in this new replay mode, haven't you?
Yeah, I've seen it a couple times in my own replays. Not too frequently, thankfully, but it does happen from time to time.
Well, let's hope they fix that. There's a few other things I've noticed that I need to tell Relic about. It's that, like, tank engines for the non-selected player, even if Fog of War is enabled, you still can't hear them. And when they come into view of the player, then all of a sudden their engines turn on. So there's a few bugs to be worked out. But, yeah, neutral versus neutral. Who's going to win?
I think neutral.
Oh, fair enough. Yeah, I can hold control as well, so maybe I'll just hold control whenever there's a battle, and then you'll just have to read who's who.
Oh, that's a nice feature. I didn't know about that. Okay, it labels all the units. That's very nice.
It certainly does. Right, we've got Zulu versus Zulu. This is so confusing. It's Co for the colorblind. It's colorblind. It's, yeah, the Jeep versus the Pioneer here. And they're friends, but they don't like each other anymore, apparently.
We'll be okay with the units, but the thing that's going to throw me off is trying to see the territory control.
Oh my god, this is going to be ridiculously difficult to do. Should we cancel replay? Should we ×2? I mean, this is a real game that happened. It's part of the World Heavyweight Championship of Company Hero. Technical issues notwithstanding, we're going to try our best for this. Now, Jeep having self-repair, like, have we stopped trying to advise Relic to make the game, like, less easy? Are we just allowing the game to be, like, raucously silly at times? Like, Havoc, where do you stand on Company Heroes 3 and its kind of style?
I mean, the style has favored my style of play a lot more than CoH3. I always like to make big plays. I like to do big pushes and be aggressive, and it was very easy to punish that kind of play in CoH3, which I attribute a lot to you know, my poorer performance there and better performance in this game. But I think it was an effort by Relic to just increase the overall pacing of the game in general. I mean, we're seeing that also with the VP tick rates, so I'm kind of happy with it, but I can definitely understand those who aren't.
Early mine there planted by the Ketty. Scouts recover that. Meanwhile, the Pioneers are forced away.
I'm a little surprised to see double fall pile from Orangepest. In my experience, they don't stand up very well to riflemen, but it'll be interesting to see how he makes use of having so many engineer units.
Yeah, 2 Falchion Pioneers is interesting. He's now following the Grenadier. He's got the MG operating well. How do you find this map, Villa Fiore, for using support weapons? So you handling it all right, Havoc?
I think it's really tough with the center vision issues. If you don't have control of the top area of the map, like, it could be really difficult to position your team weapons. There's also, between the staircases and some of the green cover, it can be difficult to navigate them around the top area. So it really gives room for good light vehicle play around the outsides, and even, you know, circling around that center, you've got a road that goes all the way around, giving those speed bonuses to vehicles. So it can be difficult to use things like AT guns.
Do you want my top AE? Yeah, do you want my top AE tip? This is genuine. I actually believe this is a real tip, Havoc. You ready?
Let's hear it.
You want to destroy these hedges and this archway and the walls as quickly as humanly possible on your side. Even if that means attack grounding with a pack, or as soon as you get your first tank out, just crush everything. Because I believe it'll really open, like Lost Glider in CoH3. If you crush the walls on your side, you can affect the center way better. So for the south side, that would be these walls, these hedges here. For the north side, it's this. You want to keep it alive for your opponent, so your opponent's like bottlenecking into the center. But if you crush your own, you can have a way better effect. It's just my take on it. Meanwhile, it looks like the Jeep's gone down to a mine there.
Yeah, Ketten already hitting vet. I don't know what it is about this patch, but I've been finding the Ketten has been much easier to vet up. I think it's with the changes to experience attributed by mine laying.
Oh yeah, that's literally what it is, yeah.
Yeah, that combined with some of the shared veterancy aspects, it gets up to vet 3 so quickly. Becomes very difficult to kill too with the changes to acceleration. It's very difficult to catch with grenades and light vehicles.
Oh, it just memes around. It's so difficult. Acceleration's ridiculous. I mean, it's currently like there's no ramp up. It goes from 0 to 100 like immediately.
Seeing a flamer out from Orangepest, that's probably
through the building
call.
as well. Yeah. There are rifles from multiple angles there, though the flamer's going to get targeted. However, the MG is backing him up and ready to suppress. Decent attacking play by Zulu, really. I mean, I'm trying to figure out how much of the map he has.
It seems like Orangepest is making good use of the Ketten to harass his capture points while Zulu's focused on the middle. This is really what you want to do once that Jeep goes down. That's why I was like, that's a pretty impactful play, picking up that Jeep kill.
Yeah, we can cycle between the players at least and try and figure out what they're doing in that way. So we can see Zulu, of course, has armored battle group. He's got veteran crews for the non-existent Jeep and fast deploys so far. Meanwhile, Orangepest, of course, did go for Luftwaffe, and he's going for LG-40 next.
221 scout car deploying.
Whereas 221 is deployed, of course. 221 is pretty much every auto match game at the moment, isn't it, Havoc? It's really popular.
Yeah, it's quite powerful, and again, with the changes to acceleration, it's much easier to keep alive than it was last patch. Great infantry harass, good timing. I mean, generally we're seeing Axis infantry at a disadvantage at this point in the game, so you really need to anchor on that light vehicle to try and claw some territory back and deal bleed damage to your opponent.
Difficult game to cast with the busted UI, but I've kind of figured out how to show Zulu on the bottom of the screen and Orangepest on the top. Orangepest now beginning to get those sandbags down and start to make his presence felt in the center. His Pioneer with a flamethrower is crucial to that. MG and 221 in the south versus Rifleman in the north. That's where Zulu's currently active, pushing forward with his Minesweepers Engineers.
This is a good play by Orangepest, just keeping control of that top sector with the flamethrower, keeping the Grenadier nearby in case he needs to merge more in. Well, it looks like the M8's going to catch the 221 out. There's nothing nearby to support it right now.
Nope, Kettenkrad
Oh,
beats
he's in
itself out
trouble.
of there. 221D down. Nice
It's
first
a nice
kill
pickup
for the
Zulu.
M8. It's nice to get worth out of your unit immediately.
We've lost the territory sector.
Between that Vet 1 and now Zulu's got War Machine, so if he wants to, he can just start churning out these light vehicles, and Orangepest is going to have a hard time dealing with it. Even if he drops himself some LG40s, you know, like I was saying, team weapons can be very difficult to position on this map just because of some of the vision and pathing, so be interested to see what Zulu's going to do next, now that
Do you
he's
remember
got the
the
light
Panzer
vehicle
Grenadier
advantage.
Company? Do you remember that building that Wehrmacht used to be able to build? Well, we've got one again now. And we do indeed have the pack out. Or is that the Flak 38? It's the Flak
That
38.
looks like, yeah, that's the 20mm for the
Oh, I
Luftwaffe-
thought we had a
Luftwaffe
Panzer Grenadier
developer.
Company game. I haven't seen one of them like all patch. But no, indeed, it's Luftwaffe Company. Of course, it was the 221 building out. Yeah, my bad. I was just expecting him to get something heavier out for the M8, but apparently not. It's going to have to be an LG40, like you said, Havoc. My bad on that one. You can forgive me with the UI being busted as it is, but
Oh,
yeah.
absolutely. Now, the 20mm can do decent damage to the Greyhound, but it's very easy to flank if he doesn't have something to snare nearby. And frankly, right now, the only thing that Orangepest has for snare is that single Grenadier, so it's going to be difficult, I think, for him to properly support this 20mm.
The mate does need to be a little bit careful. He's being spotted for right now by the Falchion Pioneers. So Luftwaffe build.
We've got a losing engagement for the Grenadier down in the south. If he's able to get enough damage on that Grenadier and force it to retreat, I can see Zulu going for an aggressive play on this 20mm to try and close out the game.
Yeah, the M8's just trying to zone him out right now. Zulu should be a pretty well accomplished M8 player, of course. It was a crutch unit in CoH3 for the US on many built-up maps like Semwar. I mean, if you can't play well with an M8, you can't play well as US, basically.
Absolutely. We're seeing Orangepest go for tier 2.5. I think that's the right call for him. He needs some anti-infantry firepower and something to contend with the M8s. So the Whirlwind should be able to fulfill both of those roles and contend with the M8. Might give an opportunity for Orangepest to claw back some of the territory control, which I don't think he has, but it's hard to tell with the neutral map.
It's been a difficult game to cast. We're trying our best for you guys. Hopefully it's not too difficult to watch and listen to. You can appreciate it's quite jarring from our perspective. I've not had this bug yet. It's my first time. Havoc says it's his second time, so he should be the pro of the neutral Minnesota, Maine, Switzerland casting.
Here comes the Warble.
The verbally Vindy is about to make things very difficult for Orange, but the M8 actually decides to fire a shot at him through the front there. Just see if keep him honest.
Just to assert his dominance.
We're coming through that the enemy is down to 200 points.
Right, Bard rifles coming out. He's got the grenade package as well. Don't forget the LG40 for Orangepest. Meanwhile, Zulu is he can't really get any easy access to hard anti-tank at this point, so he's gonna have to let it do its thing for the time being. Oh no, here we go. We've got Motorpool and the M1AT gun constructing. That's hard anti-tank if I've ever seen it.
Definitely. It's going to help him with the Whirlwind, but he's going to need snares.
Enemy movement near our victory point.
Otherwise, if Orangepest is able to get to his second Whirlwind against this Greyhound AT gun composition, he has the potential to be able to just run the AT gun over, and then it's pretty much GG for Zulu. Fallschirmjäger drop. That's a surprise to see at this point.
Yeah, I'm not too sure about that, but he does have the verbal vin, so he can back it. you know, you can protect the Fallschirmjäger, get it into a good position so it can do the DPS without losing too many models. One of the problems with elite squads such as Rangers is you haven't got protection for them, something to bullet sponge. They're kind of a double-edged sword in some ways, especially against barred rifles.
Get a clear field of fire.
And 1AT gun's first shot. Here's a good one. Rear hit.
So much, boys. Fresh boots.
Here we go. Chaffee out for Zulu to help keep that Whirlwind in check.
The enemy have taken territory from us.
Yeah, somebody in chat says, man, those Osvin Panzers are dirty. They are indeed. Got a flak Panzer Wirbelwind on the field, and they're pretty much every game I see for Wehrmacht. They are the meta at the moment, just like they were when the game first came out. So they've always, well, they've disappeared for a little bit, but now they're back with a vengeance.
They've pushed us off a sector.
I don't even think they had that many changes, Havoc. They just kind of disappeared for a little while, but now they're like in every game.
The Whirlwind saw a cost reduction, which was pretty substantial. It went from 70 fuel to 50 fuel, and then a much needed increase in accuracy against infantry, because it wasn't really doing much to the infantry squad. So those two factors
when I said
combined,
didn't see many changes, what I meant to say
Yeah,
is
that's
seen some
definitely not
big
the case.
changes. Thank you for covering for that. Shit. I need to watch. I didn't finish watching Tightrope's Wehrmacht video. I got distracted. My bad.
Chaffee
Right.
running into the LG-40, but he's maneuvering around the mine. Oh, he's going to need 2 more shots
Comes
on
in
this
to help
Whirlwind.
out. Yep. It's trying to get those finishing blows.
If you can trade this out, this is a trade up for Zulu.
Oh, but the Fallschirmjäger. Oh, and he got the kill at the last. How did that happen? Meanwhile.
I think he managed to pick it up with the LG-40 down at the bottom there.
Oh, yeah, there we go. That'll make sense. Bloody hell. But the Fallschirmjäger Faust is always catching people off guard, it seems. But indeed, it was there ready to save the day for him in that case.
Another Whirlwind in production for Orangepest, no surprise there.
Clearing out of here. All purpose marks. There, and
Oh,
there.
It
shit.
has to be said, despite, you know, Zulu's relatively commanding early game presence, he hasn't managed to manifest that in VPs. He's down to 160 now against Orangepest 473.
Sector gone.
That might be the other way around, I'm going to guess. Surely. I mean, he had most of the map at the start. I mean, we're trying to figure this
Oh
out.
no, you're right. You're right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Orangepest is at 146.
Yeah. Yeah.
That makes more sense.
It does. Just the UI is bugged. They really need to fix it. They made replay mode and now they need to finish it. Just like CoH3.
At least they're
at that
consistent.
Look at the speed of it. It's insane when it's on a road.
It's a road bonus, baby. Vet 3.
It reminds me of like in GTA when you get one of those sports cars and you can't drive it anymore, like in the city. Like, you just go zoom straight into a building. It's impossible. Just like it's impossible for these scouts to stay alive any longer.
Yeah.
Mind you, they bloody get around the apex of that archway just in time. And we've got a strafe combo on the M1AT gun, but it somehow gets out of there. And the Chaffee's there. Call an ambulance, but not for me. The Wirbelwind's the one in trouble now.
Oh, the Whirlwind's cornered. Whoa, that's quite the maneuver. I
What
didn't
the
even know
fuck?
that wall existed.
That doesn't
Good
exist
pick up by
anymore,
Zulu either
and
way.
neither does the Wirbelwind. This game's crazy. I wish we had UI for this game. Oh dear.
Orangepest pivoting to a Martyr for his build. I mean, he's struggling with the vehicles at this point, but I have to say the casemates on this map kind of suffer from the same problem that team weapons do.
Yeah. It's, as I say, it's a deceptively like difficult map to maneuver until all these things are crushed. Maybe it'll be a little bit easier for him because some of it's crushed in the north, but yeah, top tip from A, just get it all crushed as soon as your first tank comes out. Shift command away that crap so you've got a nice open field to play with.
82 points for Orangepest. He's trying to grab onto these VPs to stop the bleed, but honestly, I think with War Machine and Zulu's fast access to armor. I have to say, another one of the changes I was scratching my head about is Relic increasing the fast deploy speed from 50% build time to 75% increased build time. It's
What?
You see those vehicles come out at 10, 15 seconds. You got no grace period.
At least they're just not
To withstand
nerfing
them.
everything. That's the only thing I'll say. I mean, the game's crazy right now. It's fun. It's mad. It's silly. But at least they're just not just like, let's nerf everything and make it boring.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'd much rather see the power levels of everything start to creep up than come down. That's where the excitement comes in.
Or at least equal. Like, if you're going to nerf some stuff, buff other stuff kind of thing. You know what I mean? It's more of them.
Your sniper? He's here.
Yeah, we've gone for a sniper for Zulu. That's an interesting idea.
I think he's been on a sniper binge recently. It's been extremely frustrating for me to play against because I've never liked snipers.
Oh, don't say that out loud. That's Orangepest and Alpern's gambit. They say they hate snipers, and then people play snipers against them. It's not the best gambit, really, actually.
Oh, yeah. Double martyr out for Orangepest. I mean, if he's gonna be able to break through this allied front line, he's gonna need to take out those light vehicles. So it's an expensive choice, but one he needs to make at this point.
All the 70 victory points ticking down. Let's just double check. They've got Wehrmacht. Maybe you were right. Maybe it is somehow Orangepest who's had double victory points all this time. You know, a squad wipe there helped out with the sniper, obliterating Orangepest's infantry.
The points here definitely belong to Zulu. He's got the one in the south and one in the north right now. Pretty sure.
They look like Wehrmacht flags though on the victory points. Maybe I'm wrong.
Oh, you're right.
It's so difficult to work out. We know who's been winning like the story of the fights. It's been mostly Zulu this game.
Oh, that flamer pile getting very low. No, you can see Zulu's points ticking down from 450 right now because he has to, yeah.
Good, that makes sense. Thank God for that. I was going to say, if Orangepest is one of those players that sneakily gets victory points though, so I was kind of like, I don't know, trying to make an idea in my brain.
Yeah, I have to say, like, sometimes when I feel like I've got some combat prowess against him, he still manages to have great territory control.
That's what I'm getting at. I've seen it time and time again. People win, like, the battle, but they don't win the war. But in this case, he's losing both the battle and the war, it seems. We've tried to work it out with no UI, and we think we've got the solution on that one for you.
Zulu building another Chaffee that comes out in 11 seconds.
It's
not really sure what to do with
man,
his resources at this point.
You know, they had big factories. What can I say?
I wouldn't be surprised to see a seek and destroy play here from Zulu.
Ooh,
Try to close it out.
Yeah.
I was really happy about the martyr change to the hull down ability, bringing it back to its Co-1 roots, giving it that extra range and reload rate.
I just love the fact that they reused the Co-1 name as well, but nice grenade on the Fallschirmjägers. They are able to dodge, however, but the sniper's giving attrition all the while. He's hunting the Fallschirms as we speak, and that's ironic if you know the German translation of Fallschirm.
So much for peace and quiet.
Good merge.
We're taking fire.
Grenadiers showing their utility there.
It's on, boys.
Here we go. The one Chaffee's going in. The other one soon to follow. Maud is backing up. Oh, that Maud doesn't stand a chance. LG-40 does get a shot in.
He's going to trade out the Greyhound, but it's not going to mean much at this point. Chaffee's closing in on the Martyr in the north.
Yeah. While there are some infantry engagements, the LG-40's been taken by the Americans. That looks like game 2 is going to Zulu. Straight back into this best-of-5 series, it would seem.
I'm glad to see that this series is competitive.
Oh, yeah. And hopefully we get the bloody UI back for Game 3. It's been a real chore to cast. I feel like a noob caster, like casting for the first time. No knowledge, understanding of what the hell's going on. Fallschirmjäger's trying to, and the Pioneer's picking up a rifle on retreat. Orangepest still has some life in him yet.
Horrible one closing on the AT gun there. Yeah, he's got no chance against that firing line.
Sniper. Very expensive Fallschirmjäger squads. Losing models all the time.
Yeah. Thankfully, he's got that Grenadier to keep him.
There you
There
go.
we go. Yeah, to be expected. Well played by both. So yeah, seeing that Fallschirm pile opening was interesting for Orangepest, but I don't really think it paid out for him in the long run. He just got overwhelmed by rifles in pretty much every combat situation, and once Zulu started churning out those motor pool vehicles with War Machine, you're in a tough spot. You're really playing the eco game, and even if you can trade out vehicles, the USF player's always going to come out on top.
Mm. I like the use of the word eco game. I'm just going to try and take that in because we used to say macro a lot in casting, but eco makes way more sense. Like, it's not quite the same thing. So yeah, need more correct terminology when we're referring to Company of Heroes, because we always use like traditional RTS terms, and this is not a traditional RTS in any stretch of the imagination. Let's get ready with Game 3. We are going to be on road to Tunis. I'm going to take a little break, just a comfort break, and then we'll be right back. But I just want to... We have actually got... It's so much better now I've got blue and red. I can actually see what's going on. Imagine that. Alright then, so scores 1-1.
What's the format for this battle group elimination?
It was indeed.
Oh, good.
Yes, so I think Orangepest has already used... They've both used Coastal, haven't they?
Yeah, we saw Zulu use Coastal.
Oh, no, Zulu used Coastal, sorry, yeah.
Last game, Orangepest used Luftwaffe, so he's still got Coastal as an option.
And Zulu... He still could use Advanced Infantry if he wanted, I think.
Yeah, I'd be really interested to see one of these two players use it. Frankly, I've been having a really difficult time finding a way to make it work.
Yeah, Rangers 45 PopCap reinforces. As I say, they're a complete noob trap. You think they're overpowered when you see in isolation one Ranger squad like killing everything, but in the context of an overall game at a competitive level, they're just not all that. So yeah, we'll see. All right, guys, just give me 1 second break. Hang on. Do you need a break, Havoc?
I'm just gonna grab some water.
All right, hang on a sec. Right then.
Ready when you are?
Okay.
You're at 3 seconds.
Yeah, I'm at 3 seconds, that's right. So in 3, 2, 1, unpause, 4, 5, 6, And we are live in Game 3 with Orangepest going for Italian Coastal Battle Group. And Zulu in the north here going for Airborne Battle Group. So Wehrmacht versus US again. And we're on the best map in CoH3, would you say, Havoc? Do you like Road to Tunis?
Yeah, I think in terms of balance, this is definitely the best map in the game right now.
Certainly seems to be the case. And Orangepest, we were on an interesting map, weren't we, Villa Fiore? I mean, Zulu, if he was going to beat Orangepest, it should be on a newer map with slightly less understood pathing, less understood tactics and control. But this is now Road to Tunis. This is a tournament staple of Company of Heroes 3. So Orangepest should be in his comfort zone here, but then similarly Zulu maybe. Let's see how it plays anyway.
Yeah, it'll be interesting since we've got Orangepest using the new battle group here. I mean, he may not be experiencing quite the level of comfort that we've seen from his level of experience with other battle groups, but I know this is one of the very strong choices for Coastal due to your options for bunker placement, for designate defensive line again. But Zulu's also got a great choice here in Airborne. I mean, he's got access to that carpet bombing run if he needs to clear big lines of defenses, and he's going to have a ton of early field presence, assuming he goes the 2 Pathfinder 3 rifle build staple.
Yeah, let's see for certain, and let's see if Orangepest elects to use any bunkers or fighting positions or fighting nests, as they're called, on this map, because they're pretty bloody powerful, aren't they? Especially if you get an early fighting nest up in a position of advantage. There's not that much your opponent can do in the early game against it.
Yeah, there's a very dramatic buff that they had to player-built defenses, where squads inside of them now get an additional 30% accuracy and 25% fire rate, I believe. So if you can get into one of those bunkers or fighting positions, it really boosts the combat power of the unit inside.
One thing to be noted, though, I mean, the light mortar buff has somewhat taken the edge of what would have been a ridiculous patch. If they hadn't buffed mortars, then I think this patch would have been a dead-in-the-water patch with regards to bunkers and, you know, static fortifications. I'm so glad at least they had the foresight to do that.
Absolutely. I mean, you have to believe that that's an intentional decision by Relic. You know, knowing that defenses are going to be such a strong part. I honestly think the mortars were kind of in need of that change anyways, because having to barrage and then move your mortar up 20 meters to start auto-firing was pretty frustrating.
It was. They're all like casual player friendly as well, I might say. I mean, obviously, in this case, Havoc, an expert player, is very welcoming of that change. But if you're new to Company Heroes, it's going to be easier to play with mortars and stuff like that. It's just going to be more welcoming for the team game kind of audience as well. We've had exchanging cut-off maneuvers. It's now Orangepest's turn to take Zulu's cut-off. I'm just starting to see Road to Tunis really start to give us a more understandable battle, an easier to cast exchange.
Yeah, this is a good maneuver from Orangepest to find that one opening in Zulu's lines right now. And it looks like if he can get that machine gun placement up top, he's still going to be able to hold on to his +10, which is going to be big.
Yep. Really helping himself out there. Good machine gun placement in the nick of time. Orangepest seeming to be on a full head of steam at the moment, and he's held out on Zulu's cutoff for quite a while there.
Has to be said, without that second rifle squad moving to Zulu's cutoff, it looked like that rifleman was going to lose to the Coastal Reserve squad.
Our territory is cut off from supply. Reconnect with
Coastal Reserve's hightailing it out of there. And
Commander, it's done.
I just want to see what Orangepest does with Italian Coastal Battle Group, because there's so much you can use from it. I mean, the artillery officer, but I'm not so certain how applicable that is to elite level play. When it's 2 aggressive style players.
I mean, the artillery officer provides so many passive buffs to infantry, in addition to forcing a micro tax on your opponent. I really wouldn't be surprised to see it. It seems like a no-brainer unit for me from that battle group.
Pathfinder rifle made used there on the MG. It's a one-man squad now retreating through a hailstorm of fire.
It's worth mentioning we're seeing mechanized support center from Zulu, which I have never seen at this level. It's always infantry support center.
Oh, I did when the game first came out. I mean, back in the day. But no, I haven't seen it for ages. Does it still give cope cages on the tanks?
I think that's an option.
Rifleman taking the field.
Let's get open Codex and try and figure out what it does, because no one's played with it for ages.
Roger that. Smoke bombs are ready to be dropped when and where needed.
Fourth rifle from Zulu, which is honestly, I have to question that decision with the 221. He knows it's coming out. Luftwaffe has been the dominant choice here, and now he's not going to have anything to keep this 221 in check.
Seemingly not. No AT gun drop as an option yet. He's going to be surely getting... Yeah, there they are. AT grenades coming out for Zulu from the grenade package. And that's not easy to pull off on Road to Tuner's Havoc because there's less sight blockers for your infantry to ambush the 221 from behind.
Yeah, I feel like it's more of a defensive choice for him to be able to deter the 221 from chasing his squads down.
Just so it can't jungle around and kill him, basically. MG was set up in such a point of premonition there from Orangepest. I really like the MG placement. He had it just waiting for Zulu's aggression, basically, like as a true counterplay.
Yeah, one of the signs of a great player is knowing what decisions your opponent is going to make based on what they can see. And so positioning his Ketten down there in the south along with the Pioneer, he knew that there would be some riflemen coming to address that, and he's got the machine gun ready for them.
Did you ever play against Love Nest in CoH3?
Yeah, I never beat him.
No, not many people did when he played well. His MG placement was the best of all time, and he would just do that to you constantly. Like, you'd exit your base, and he'd be ready for you. You know what I mean? It was really unnerving.
Rifleman gonna get a good grenade on the officer, but it looks like he's gonna get away.
Does that designate defensive position utilized? Yes, it is.
Yeah,
Take 25% less damage, restores 4 health per second. So you're fighting a losing battle, you shoot them, and they just slowly heal.
Yeah, so there's an interesting issue right now with how out of combat works in this game. Basically, combat means that your unit is retaliating or firing, and if you're walking away from your opponent, you're able to get that quote-unquote out of combat bonus even if you're taking
oh, I
fire.
see it now, yeah. So hang on a second, I'm going to face the other way and walk away whilst I heal, and then I'll start fighting you again. Okay.
It's also worth mentioning that this additional health per second is going to apply to vehicles as well, which I learned yesterday.
Oh my god. That's ridiculous. Now that is taking it too far for me with the craziness, I have to say. I'm not a fan of that.
Nah.
Like, I can justify an imaginary circle healing your men. That's like World War II, that's literally what happened. But tanks repairing, that's too far.
Yeah. Good VP control from Zulu, despite some of the punishment that he's been taking. But now we're going to see the Whirlwind coming out from Orangepest, and this is really going to change the tempo. And he's going to apply a lot more pressure to Zulu's units with this. But Zulu in response does have the motor pool up, so he's going to be able to field something. Looks like pretty soon.
Yeah, let's hope he does, because otherwise the verbal wind's going to go all over his face. Magnoko asks, who is the co-caster? It's Havoc, otherwise known as twitch.tv/wrecking Havoc. One of the best players in Company Heroes 3 today. The verbal wind has hit. It's making its way down the center of the map, and let's see what counters we're going to have out, because there doesn't seem to be
Pioneer's
many.
in trouble. Looks like he's gonna get out okay. Whirlwind's gonna come to his defense there.
We must pull this back. We're down to 300 points.
Yeah, he stuns it, shocks it rather, and it's not worth much, to be honest. You don't really want to suffer too many casualties trying to stun a tank. That's why anti-tank guns are so necessary. But he's going to go for a Shaffy. That's his idea. He's a very Shaffy-orientated player, it seems.
That's definitely the right choice for him at this point. With facing double light vehicles from Orangepest, he's not going to be able to go with the Greyhound. It's just going to be under too much duress from the Whirlwind.
There's a lot of possibilities for Orangepest's army. He can also, of course, back-tech if he chooses. He's had the lion's share of the resources thus far. A lot of mines down thanks to the Ketting crowd as well. And yes, he's got a Marder as well now, so yeah, the Shaffy's going to have difficulty for certain.
Shaffy able to pick up the Ketten. That's a big win for Zulu. It's going to allow him to keep better control of his territory without facing that Ketten harassment.
Yeah, definitely in the mines as well, but I mean, is the Ketten worth a rebuild in a theoretical elite tournament game these days, Havoc?
I think so.
Space for it? Yeah.
It's very low cost. It allows you to keep your combat units focused on combat, and the utility that you get from it in the form of vision and mine laying is, I think it's totally worth a rebuild. But
so I've asked you that theoretical question, but have you ever rebuilt it? Is the next question. You have.
Many
okay,
times.
fair enough. Okay, good.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Especially when I'm playing Coastal. I mean, I don't really want to be moving my units away from their strong positions. I want to be clearing out positions with vehicles and then resecuring them with the Ketten, so I can focus my infantry.
What the 221 was thinking there went straight into harm's way.
There's a couple engagements going on right now. The 221 gets out. It looked like Orangepest was busy trying to micro the Warble down in the south, trying to pick up that Pathfinder. He might get out though.
Looking just about likely. Very low health though. Tree comes to the rescue.
I'm really surprised he didn't go for the finish there. I'm gonna hit that mine.
Certainly didn't. The pin's now in. Ah, there you go. The verbal pin added to the mine suppression to create a pin. That's why the pin elicited itself in seconds. Meanwhile, we do have an anti-tank gun finally dropped for Zulu. So, yeah, he's got a decent build. 4 rifles. Would you like to see some upgrades on these rifles? Maybe get bars as well? I mean,
Gonna be hard for him to squeeze into his build at this point, but I think, yeah, that's probably the right choice for him right now. Concrete bunker on the south VP from Orangepest. He's got that coastal wall, so he's only paying 100 manpower for that. That's honestly not
is
a
the
terrible
Shaffy going to
spend.
overstay its welcome as well? Because, of course, this bunker does have a high health pool.
He does have that rifleman screening. He can see the martyr coming, so he's probably going to respond in time.
Ah, M1AT gun was there to try and kill the bunker as well, but that's being forced away also. Meanwhile, yeah, rifleman trying to screen away the verbal wind and Marder. What's the Shaffy? And the Shaffy's had to back away. He doesn't fancy it anymore, Havoc.
I mean, he's got no engineer on the field to heal it, but he's feeling the pressure. He's only got 75 VPs left, and he's triple capped, so we're looking at another minute in this game if Zulu can't do something about it.
Oh, stopping quickly. Yep.
Wind bouncing the Chaffee shot there.
Should be noted, by the way, the victory points colours are reversed at the top there, so you are seeing an easy win for Orangepest overall. And Zulu is hanging off a deal life on 56 victory points. He's trying to grenade the bunker. Still alive, that bunker. Jesus Christ, it's sturdy. Finally, there we go. A big M1AT gun shot. Should be able to finish it off now.
That squad's going to get out safely for sure.
Toxic Grenadier, who's been trying to rise up the auto match rankings, he says Zulu did not use the Minesweeper versus the cheapest mine, so it's GG. And it's as simple as that in his opinion.
Yeah, kind of expected to see that, honestly, from Zulu. He's such a great mine user. You'd think that he would have the mindset of wanting to keep an eye out for those, but he's definitely been taking a lot of bleed from these mines.
Yeah, I expected a yellow back this weekend, like all of us did, but yeah, I think Relic like have to do one hotfix a week. I think it costs them a lot of money probably to do more than that on Steam. I think Steam charges per update, so I think they're limited by that probably.
It's looking like Orangepest has this unlock here. Oh, that rifle squad's not going to be able to get the flank. Making good use of those white phosphorus rounds. The suppression that they provide on infantry is a great peel tool. Oh, he tried to smoke the center VP, but the Chaffee got picked up by the Martyr at long range.
Ooh, yep, GG it
Yeah,
is.
it looks like Zulu's bleeding out here.
Yeah, Shrek and Morda just absolutely annihilated that Chaffee in an instant. Didn't stand a chance. And there we go. It's 2-1 to Orangepest.
Yeah, you could see the kill differential from those coastals. Despite the power of the riflemen, like when they're in good cover and supported properly by vehicles, Zulu is just taking way too much bleed to be able to put up anything substantial against Orangepest vehicles.
Yeah, I mean, I also did pose the question. I wasn't like that confident when I first said it, but I expected Orangepest to be that much better on Road to Tunis because it is a tourney staple map and there's like less chaotic element at play that Zulu could take advantage of because, you know, Orangepest is the best in the world at Company Heroes 3, so difficult to unseat somebody when they're on a tried and tested map like that.
Definitely. I also think going mechanized support center from Zulu was honestly not to his benefit. I mean, the extra field presence he would have got from the captain, as well as the option of like logistics if he wanted to reduce some of the bleed that he was taking, I think would have helped him a lot.
Yeah.
But it's nice to see some strategic diversity and experimentation from players.
Let's see what Zulu can do now. His back's up against the wall. He's as Wehrmacht on Road to Tunis. He needs to have a really solid play, really solid build order, and just try and breathe himself into the map. Don't let himself get overwhelmed by Orangepest early on, and go from there. And as you say, in Company Heroes 3 right now, mines are your best friend. And if you're not mine sweeping properly, you're going to have a bad time.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, sorry, Firehawk. It ended when Zulu basically 1v2'd two heavy anti-tank units with his Chaffee in the middle, and it got obliterated in a second. So, yeah. Let's go over to the game now. Right then, I'm at 4 seconds, Mr. Havoc. Are you ready, son?
Yep.
3. Oh, let me do my scores, actually. Hang on a second. The score on the left, of course, is Orangepest is 2-1 up. Right, 3, 2, 1. On pause. 5, 6, 7, 8. Interestingly, Orangepest is electing for Armored Battle Group this time, so of course.
I think I know where this is going.
Go on.
Orangepest has seen the power of the Jeeps, and on a map as open as Tunis, you can do some serious bullying in the early game against any of the rifle units that Wehrmacht could field, and especially the Ketten. So what I expect to see from him here is potentially a double Jeep opener where he's going to be right up in the face of Zulu's Ketten and whatever else he's going to build, whether it be MG or Grenadier.
The reason I went yes with exclamation is I was going to ask you, do you think it'll be a double Jeep? So I'm kind of excited by that just because I like exciting and interesting build orders like that. And there we go, Kettenkrat's already under pressure from this Vet 1 Jeep.
Man, the Jeep comes out right at the same time as the Ketten, so you really have no grace period to get it on the field and start capturing territory.
Would you like the Jeep to get its 30 cal as an upgrade, maybe? Or do you like it the way it is?
I think the upgrade is... I think the Jeep with its gun is fine. I do think that fast deploy should not be as strong as it is right now. Reducing the production time of vehicles by 75% just
Why
gives
did
you
they do that?
absolutely no space to maneuver your Ketten around in the beginning. And I like, you know, having that kind of ebb and flow of the Jeep trying to chase down the Ketten and keep it from vacuuming up the map, but seeing this early game, he's listening for it, so he's trying to find it right now. He knows it's on the bottom side of the map.
Yeah,
Didn't
he's
see the
all
double
over it.
Jeep though from Orangepest.
Nope.
He opted for the rifle squad instead, which means looks like he's going to want to transition to a probably going to make a more aggressive push on the cutoff once he gets the second rifle.
What do you need?
Yeah, there it is. And road to tuners is difficult if you've just got the Kettenkrad. The Jeep is as fast as you are, and there's not as many places to hide as there is on a map such as Twin Beaches, as an example. It's a wide open map, and you will be found. Jeep, for now, is on the wrong side. Let's see what's happening with Zulu's formation. He's lost.
Really
central command.
surprised to see Breakthrough as the choice here from Zulu. I mean, the MP40s can be a good early game catapult if you're trying to get to a fast Luftwaffe tech, but I mean, with the Jeep being able to bully your Grenadiers from long range and keep them from closing the gap, I don't know. I don't know if he's going to be able to get the tempo that he needs in order to get to his probably Luftwaffe tech. I'd be surprised to see Panzer Grenadier Company.
Rifleman squad deployed.
Yeah, I mean, that's what most people are going. But as you say, MP40s on such a long, wide-open map is going to be a difficult play. You have to go through the middle, go for the cutoffs, go for the plus 10 fuel, and have a launching platform to get you there. At the moment, he has had his 2 plus 10 fuels, and he's protecting them rather well, but I just sense that Orangepest is getting ready for a push. He's just gotten his scout squad into a central location. He's going to be looking for lines of sight and spotting weaknesses.
Yep.
Damn it! Territory sector claimed by the enemy.
Zulu capturing that point on the south side with his MG, and Orangepest sees it, so he's going to go and smoke and close in on that thing, force it back to base most likely.
Yeah, I just about got Fog of War enabled to show us that. He's trying to soft pedal with the MG. He sets it up now, but the rifles will be able to get out of the cone of fire. Yep, there they go. They only suffer half a burst there, and they do indeed force the MG off.
Yeah. Unless the Grenadiers are getting their MP40s here, they're going to have to pull back. Looks like he's not teching it, so he's going to back up. It's a good choice. You were seeing the Luftwaffe company coming up from Orangepest. Yeah, no surprise here. He's probably going to go motor pool. I would imagine into Greyhound, and if he sees those MP40s, he's probably going to go for bars on his rifles.
Yeah, he'll just win every engagement from mid-range if he needs to do that, yeah. Kettenkrad can't contest the cutoff, so Orangepest has now pulled the trigger on multiple assaults, but he has lost out to an MP40 pop. In the north, the rifles under a lot of pressure, but they're past the close quarter combat envelope and they should be safe. There we go, the first MP40s at least did have a decent impact on the battlefield.
We're seeing rapid production from Zulu, which is going to be the equivalent of the fast deploy for USF, and he's going to get that 221 on the field. But he's only got maybe a minute before he's going to see the Greyhound if Orangepest decides to go that.
Yeah,
Let's see what he can do with it.
Greyhound's a solid choice. He's just had the motor pool erected. He's waiting for his fuel right now. He's at 32 and counting. 221 makes a play, forces away the Jeep. Does he have the Kettenkrad to back him up? Yes, he does. He's going to go straight for the cutoff. So Zulu certainly has a lot of balls when he plays, doesn't he?
Yeah. I describe Zulu as the player that takes all of the right gambles, and they usually pay off for him.
Well, that makes a dangerous man. Fortune does favour the brave. Or at least people like to think it does.
Grenadiers definitely going to be forced to retreat very soon from that building, and we can see the Greyhound in production for Orangepest as expected.
M8
10 kills for Zulu, 7 for Orangepest at the moment. It's been a pretty equal game thus far.
A bit of a slow start for what I'd expect from Armor Battle Group, but
A munitions point is being attacked.
Orangepest just really playing to contain Zulu, it looks like, and just wait for his light vehicles to hit the field where he's really going to start to pick up some tempo.
Yeah, and speaking of which, the M8's going to be setting that tempo now. It's got his skirts just upgraded. Next is the Top Gunner, the 50 cal. And his immediate effect on the battlefield is to force away that MG42 yet again.
Commander, it's done.
Jaegers is the call from Zulu. He just wants the Shrek. Can't say I blame him. When you're up against the M8.
He's a little short on the munitions for his Shrek, so it looks like he's going to go for the Panzerbusch on his 221 instead.
Yep, there it
I
is.
like this choice, but I mean, frankly, with the side skirt upgrade on the Greyhound, the 221's just not going to be the threat that Zulu needs against Orangepest here. He's going to need both the Shrek and the Panzerbusch to be able to stand a chance taking this down with somebody as sharp as Orangepest.
Yeah, it's going to be difficult. You're going to need more than just that.
Victory point.
I mean, the best he could hope for is the M8 hits a mine and then he can finish it off, but
Ready to spin.
the Kettenkrad's not been in a position to lay that many mines recently.
The enemy have taken territory from us.
221. trying to
First
poke
shot
on this.
misses.
Yeah, it's typical for this. These light vehicles have pretty terrible accuracy on each other, so Grenadiers forcing off that rifle in the north.
Jaegers and MG in the south just trying to push back onto the map for Zulu. He is down on victory points so far, but he's done the right things. He's like tried to slowly
One of our munitions points is being neutralized.
apply himself to this game. Don't overextend himself. Don't let Orangepest overwhelm him. And yeah, he's done all right. He's done all right so far. He is down on victory points, but he's not down on material, and he can push from here.
Definitely sensing the shift in tempo here from both players. Zulu recognizing that if he loses this game, he's giving up the title here to Orangepest, and Orangepest not going too deep on anything, just playing very tight, very slow, and we're seeing that in the kill line too.
Yeah, it's
Not too many kills on either side.
no, it's an attritional battle so far, and you know, they're doing a lot of posturing and a lot of maneuvering on the battlefield. It's not been as cutthroat as we possibly expect, and we definitely saw in Game 1 and Game 2.
Yeah.
Victory point.
Yeah, if Orangepest wins this, he gets the cash prize of $50 of AE's ad revenue money, but hope to see more of these show matches going forward. I have reenacted the Patreon accounts so we can see some more activity like this in the future. And Orangepest could be the champion that people will be challenging in that future if he wins this game.
We're getting pushed off that north side there. 221's going to take a snare. And the M8 smells blood, but he's not going to go too deep because he's not sure what's beyond those Jaegers.
No, looks
Black
like
30 here for Zulu is a good choice.
facing the right way as well. If the M8 was to try and go for the stricken 221, which now has been repaired. Munitions-wise, he's at 71. He can't get Panzer Shrek quite yet. But you'd think with 2 MGs, a flak, Panzer Shrek, a Panzerbuschka, he should be able to really hold his side of the map at that point.
Oh, the Captain here moving into range of the Greyhound. It's going to get taken out. It's a good pickup for Zulu, or Orangepest.
Yeah, Zilligath in chat, a player that's gotten a lot better himself recently. He says Orangepest needs a mortar ASAP. Against that many suppressive platforms, I mean, it's not a bad idea.
Yeah, the MG42 and Flak 30 is just a powerhouse combo for firepower, so the mortar's a great choice for that.
Son of a bitch! Rifle's losing integrity!
M8's been zoned out for a while now. It's not really had that much effect on target. Orangepest is just having to consolidate his resources and just try and win the victory point battle, and he's been doing a good job of that. He's gotten Zulu down to 250, and soon to be dropping below that, actually. There we go.
Yeah. Orangepest being very conservative with his Greyhound, really just like pulling it out where he sees the 2-2-1 or when he needs to defend the VP. He's not being too aggressive with it, which I think is the right call for him. The longer this goes on, especially with double fuel control, the better position he's going to be in to close out once he gets the higher tech.
I will point out, by the way, that the US announcer is so much more tolerable now that he's hidden behind heavy static. Like,
Yeah.
I haven't even been annoyed by him once this patch. I've only just realised that. He used to annoy me every game, every single game, Havoc. But now he's hidden. Like, he's just like, I don't know, he sounds like Kenny from South Park or something. Like, it's so much better. I'm just imagining he's being strangled. It's great. It's great.
Mortar got a good hit on the 2-2-1 there. He took about a third of his HP. Oh, Grenade picks up the MG42 in the north, and it looks like he's going to run in and secure that with this scout. This is a big flip for
Orangepest, indeed it is, and the flak can't prevent them taking it. That is unfortunate. MP40 Grenadiers are trying to come in to make the save. Can the flak decrew the MG? We've got an MP40 Grenadier coming in. Yes, it can. Saving the day there for Zulu. Quite frankly, keeping him in the game. But there's the M8, though. There's that M8, though. He's screening himself just about.
Oh, that Grenadier's not looking like it's going to make it out. Greyhound misses, thankfully.
I tell you
And
what,
we've got
Zulu's...
Stops trooping on the field for Zulu.
Yeah. Zulu's hanging on by his fingertips there. Two really close calls with death, and he was able to salvage the situation. This flak needs to suppress these rifles. It needs to happen now. He's able to get it off as well. Oh my god, he's hanging on by a thread.
This is exactly what I was talking about with Zulu. Like, normal players under these kind of circumstances would just start to lose, and I'm guilty of this myself. Just start to lose everything and kind of fall apart mentally. But Zulu just like so tenacious and keeps his cool under pretty much every circumstance.
I will draw your attention to, this is the Mechanized 251 call-in, otherwise known as Mechanized Assault Group. That's how he got the Stoss Trooper. First time I've seen that dispatch.
So this has been an interesting strategy I've seen from Zulu recently, where he kind of plays around this 251, just tries to minimize his bleed, and he's got so much firepower in the form of his MP40s, the Stoss-Truppen, and the 221 in defense. Be interested to see how he's going to pivot into a longer game potentially with this setup, but Orangepest has the right composition to deal with it. The mortar, the AT gun, Greyhound still in form. The 4x4's got the scout upgrade, which is going to allow him to read Zulu really well.
Ooh, nice merge there, keeping the Jaegers active.
Good merge. See, he's just going to walk that Grenadier back and reinforce from the 251, really maximizing his field presence in the middle here.
Yeah, cheaply reinforce it as well. Meanwhile, Stoss Trooper in the Casbah need to be careful. It's a very weakened building.
Stoss-Truppen making an aggressive push in the middle with the support of the Flak 30. I think that's a great choice.
Great assault grenade as well by the Stoss Trooper. Rifle barely surviving that one.
221 took a snare on the south side. He's got a rifleman flanking around this machine gun. Oh, he's going to hold his position behind the wall. Maybe wait for a better engagement to appear. He's going to get the repair off in the 221 as well, which is good. That's really the only thing keeping the Greyhound at bay right now. But he's also got the Shrek upgrade on his Jaegers. And look, see, the 251 really showing its value here. He's able to get heals off on all of his units and get everybody back into fighting form for this next push from
really
Orangepest.
quickly. And this is, if he gets this south victory point, which I expect he will, it's largely to thank the 251 keeping him there. But victory points are on his side right now. 189 and dropping. Orangepest just eliciting so much better map control overall.
I'm not surprised to see that. I mean, Zulu's really just trying to minimize his bleed right now and keep good control of his units. He's got a lot of fuel in the bank, but I don't really know how he's going to transition into... Let's see. He doesn't have support elements yet, so Warble's not an option at the moment. Orangepest, I mean, if it looks like he's just going to keep plinking away with the mortar and try to play around the outsides of the map, just keep that slow bleed VP pressure on.
Yeah, he's certainly just hoping to bleed Zulu out in this game. He seems to have not been able to get himself into a position for a finishing blow. He's hit some good shots, don't get me wrong, and he came close to a knockout in a couple of moments, but overall, Orangepest seems to have more respect for the Zulu he's finding in this game 4, and he's just trying to bleed him out slowly but surely, and just pick the victory points up and head on home.
Jaeger in 2-2-1 trying to trade with the Greyhound right now up in the north. Uh-oh. 2-2-1 rotates itself. Oh. But Orangepest not going to commit to pushing in on that. A lot of respect to... And yeah, there it is. So the Bulldozer is the bane of this this composition here by Zulu. And frankly, he's got really nothing on the field right now that's going to be able to put up a fight. If he quickly techs into tier 2.5 and picks himself up a Martyr, he might be okay, but he's got to recognize it soon,
not
otherwise...
another Shrek, dude. He's going for another Jaeger Shrek. That's just going to be attritional. He's going to lose so much manpower, and here comes the Bazooka Sherman. Oh, dear. Oh, no.
No, he's just got nothing for this right now. I have to imagine he's going to reconsider the Jaeger, but it looks like he's going to let it finish. Honestly, it could just be that he's too busy microing to cancel it.
Yeah, and he let it come
good
out.
snare. Good snare by Zulu. May be able to pick up the Greyhound if the Shrek connects.
Panzerbuska's dead. Oh, yes, he was able to get Shrek off like Havoc mentioned, but so much is dying in the meantime, and the Shrek squad itself may be next to die. Orangepest winning this with a single Bulldozer Sherman, it would seem, eating Zulu for breakfast.
Yeah, Zulu doesn't have any more munitions for a Shrek, so he's got absolutely nothing for this Bulldozer right now. He's taking a lot of bleed.
As GG well played. The reigning World Heavyweight Champion of Company of Heroes is Orangepest. I mean, he needs a challenger that can unseat him, someone that can dethrone him. He's going to keep picking up these checks on these show matches otherwise. It's like the Orangepest retirement fund.
Armor Battle Group right now is just such a strong choice for USF. I mean, having cheaper, you know, manpower usually ends up being your bottleneck as USF, as you're trading out a lot of your riflemen, but War Machine really compensates for that. Yeah, boy, this is just...
Oh, Stop-Trooper versus
beating,
Bulldozer, yeah. I think there's another shot ready. Oh, there it is. Yeah, he gets another Stoss on retreat. Ow. He's got a high explosive shell for everybody, this howitzer. He's like the Santa Claus of killing Germans.
Yeah. You can see as soon as this dozer hit the field, the kill differential just totally split in Orangepest's favor.
Dude, I want to play with this. Like, I see this Bulldozer Sherman, I want to go play against coastal defense players.
Yeah,
I annihilate
the Bulldozer, very strong choice right now. Here comes the Hellcat. disrespecting that 251. He's not having any of it. There we go.
Yeah. Oh my god, this is nasty. I so would have slash L'd by now. I wouldn't let my opponent get the satisfaction of wiping everything I have. And there it is. GG's.
Oh, an incendiary round to finish it off.
Oh, man.
And look, Orangepest finishing with almost double the kills of Zulu after a very close game for the majority of it, but...
Yeah. Yeah, nearly double there. And you can see on the graphs as well, he just kind of... did so well in general. But, I mean, if you look at points held, it always shows Orangepest was ahead. But I just felt Zulu kind of held his part of the map, if you will. But unfortunately never truly... had Orangepest on the back rope there, on the back foot, or on the ropes rather. So yeah, GG, well played to Orangepest, and we're going to be now asking the community, do you think you can beat the heavyweight champion of the world? Do you think you can take Orangepest down? He's only a man, and if he's a man, he can bleed, and if he can bleed, he can die. So surely you could be the man to take him down, if you're out there.
I'm definitely aspiring to be a contender against Orangepest, but I have to say one of his greatest strengths is he knows when to play and how to play against a respectable opponent and not take unnecessary risk. And that's really, like, from what I've seen from CoH3, those are the marks of the best players, is just like really calculating like when to pounce and when to play control. And Orangepest seems to have mastered that in this game very well. And so I've got some to learn in that department. I think when I lose games, it tends to be taking too big a risk and losing everything at once. It's very climactic to watch, but it really hurts me to as the player.
I mean, you don't need to take my advice, I mean, obviously. But if I was to give anybody advice that's like a really good auto match player, having spoken to all the good tournament players over the last, 10 plus years, is at some point they lose respect for auto match and they save their best stuff. And they start like having this idea of self-improvement where they look at every aspect of their game and they start trying to improve every aspect of their game. And they start seeing like grinding auto match as like, I don't know, counterproductive to being a fresh, really razor-sharp Company of Heroes player. Like, the grind kind of makes you just kind of like, I don't know, it dulls you in some ways. It takes away your edge and your sharpness, and at some point you have to, like, think, right, I've gotten to number one on all the leaderboards, but now I have to start slowing down, analyzing my replays a bit more often, and trying to work out how I get to that next level, get to that next gear. That's what I've noticed with the players. It all started when I started like speaking to the Aimstrongs and DevMs of the world back in the day. They said, to be honest, I don't play much auto match anymore. I just do a few scrims. I sit down, I analyze, I try and get better. But it's the same with most games, like Ibkai Fung says. Like, but that is how you get good in the first place in terms of auto match good. Then you forget about that. You start grinding because you think you know everything, and then you realize there's people better than you. So you need to go back to basics, basically. And if you want to bridge the gap between somebody like Orangepest and yourself, it's like treating yourself like almost like, how do you make that gap smaller? And you have to go back to review. You have to go back to, trying to iron out the inefficiencies in your own play, whatever they may be. If it's control group, if it's tac maps, if it's certain subtle things you're not doing. Like Havoc, I have to ask, like, do you notice the difference between the players that are putting base buildings at the edges of their base sectors or the ones that are auto-building them next to their headquarters, thus creating a pathing issue for retreating units and also not allowing their own units to reinforce as they're exiting their base sector? That's like a minuscule fraction of an efficiency saving, but players don't seem to be doing it. And I'm like, do they want to become the best player in the world? Do they want to make every efficiency possible? Or are they just thinking they can out-micro people on the battlefield? It seems like there should be like easy wins everybody does. And I don't think every top player does them. What are your thoughts on that, Havoc?
Yeah, I mean, in the spirit of kind of what we were talking about earlier with auto repair on vehicles, well, is right. It's like Relic is trying to streamline as many aspects of the game as possible and keep the tempo up. And so introducing these mechanics like auto reinforce, auto base building, like taking a lot of the pressure and micro attacks off of the players so they can focus on the combat gameplay. These are great features, but they can also become crutches for people that keep them from improving. And like you said, like the impacts of auto base building and the pathing issues and units getting stuck retreating and not healing when they're in the base, like those things are going to add up and stack up over time, and they're going to really keep people from hitting their maximum potential. So you really need to look at like every aspect of the game, not just the combat, not just the territory control, but like every little minute detail. And I really think that's where, you know, people talk about the times of the greatest players in CoH3. Like they really had a grasp on every single, not only was their micro super tight, but like everything was just pristine and calculated and really intentionally thought out. And so people need to apply that same mindset to every aspect of this game as well if they want to compete at the top level.
Basically, a Silder and a Nagano kind of typify that, don't they? They
100%.
basically, they had the same auto hotkeys. They had the same like play style. They had the same approach. They were different players still because of their like internal characteristics, but like the mechanical approach to Company Heroes really did start to perfect itself with those two, and that's why they personally found it really difficult to come into the messy Company Heroes 3 Origins, like from February to now, with the bad tack map and the crazy balance and stuff. It's been tricky. It's been really tricky.
I'm really hoping we start to see some of those competitors come back, because I know, like, personally, I'm hungry for performance. I can name on both hands the number of players that I feel like I have great competitive games against. And the reality is I'm going to have trouble improving if I'm not given the opportunity to play against some of these fantastic players. So I can just only hope that Relic is going to continue adding features, fixing the balance, improving the playability, and fixing the aspects of the game that need to be fixed to attract some of those great players to come back and really bring some life back to this competitive scene.
Yeah, absolutely. Inca, I mean, people are already coming back, dude. Just because you're not, it doesn't mean like other people aren't, I think. But I wouldn't say it's dog shit either. I think that's like over-exaggerating how bad it is. It's not that bad anymore, in my opinion, at least.
I'd really like people to be more specific about their criticisms when it comes to the game. Like, from what I can tell, the main one seems to be the time to kill being a big one.
On retreat specifically as well. Like, I don't like the bonus on retreat, but
yeah, the inability to punish players who have overextended. I mean, I know players like me have benefited from that, who like to be hyper aggressive, who like to take those big risks, but I can definitely see how it's really frustrating to play against. So I don't know, I'm really interested to see how Relic's going to handle the next couple of years with feedback from the community, and what their priorities are going to be in terms of balancing everything. I can kind of see things going the same direction they did in CoH2, where everything starts to power creep and we see the TTK start to come down. And that's going to reward the more calculated, more micro-type players than the ones that, are overcommitting and taking ridiculous risks for high payoff. So I can see things going that direction, but I think we've still got a ways to go before we see those kinds of changes.
Yeah. It's not like... It's not a refined experience enough yet where big gambles feel out of the ordinary. Right now, it's a very chaotic experience, and I'm like expecting players to be making big gambles all the time, to be quite frank. Yeah, I agree with Orangepest there. It's not time to kill in general, it's the retreat modifier specifically. There's a lot of fucking stuff that kills really fast in Company Heroes, but as soon as you hit T or R, it doesn't matter anymore, and that's a problem. That's a big problem.
Yeah. One of the things I was really happy to see in this iteration that frustrated me about CoH2 was CoH2 had a massive emphasis on long-range infantry engagements in cover. We saw a lot of LMG play, the TTK being really low. Like, it was difficult to use high-impact units like shock units, Panzer Grenadiers, short range assault infantry. Like you didn't really see much of those
No.
because they were too risky to use. But in this game, the way that they've kind of, it seems like everything is more consistent. There's less RNG. You can kind of like see more consistent damage across the board from all units on each other. But they compensate for that with different health pools, which I think was the right call.
Exactly.
But
Well, you have to,
obviously
yeah, and that's how they can balance it as well. But like, you have to consider like FPS games, for example. When there's a hardcore mode in Call of Duty or Battlefront or whatever it is, like a hardcore server with one-shot kills, everyone camps. It's simple. If you lower time to kill, it becomes more campy. That's computer gaming. If you raise time to kill, like Halo or I don't know, some other game where there's high time to kill, like the arena games that there are, everyone runs around like an idiot and kind of hip fires around corners and does stuff like that. You know, it's a balance to be had. Do you want more maneuverability, flanking, and more risk taking? Do you want more kind of like, I don't know. However, I will say the tension increases when time to kill goes down. There's more tension in an engagement. There's more, it could happen any second. And I've spoken to people, and we estimated like the time to kill is too high in Company Heroes 3 by like not that much. It's between 5 and 15%. Talisman came back recently in Kuhn. I've seen a lot of people playing. If I go on my Steams list, I can see way more people playing Company Heroes 3 than there were in general. Yeah, loads of people
I was super
have
happy
come back
about that.
in general.
Yeah, I think, like I said at the beginning, I think the name of the game right now for Relic is just continued balance updates. I'd still like them to focus more on strategic diversity and just giving more options to players for meaningful choices to make. It still feels like there's a handful of dominant choices for each faction. I mean, DAC and UKF right now are in really weird positions with some of the changes that they've seen. I know, like, for example, DAC was really crushing on that flak barreling, and since they nerfed it, it doesn't really feel like there's any great options for them. UKF seeing the same thing with tier 4 armor, so hopefully we see another balance patch in early Q1 to give some of the players more options. Really looking forward to the community map additions.
Oh, it's going to be epic, yeah.
Yeah.
I've got an idea what might be coming as well for that. It's obviously under NDA, but I've got an idea, and it sounds really, really exciting. So the map update's going to be huge, I feel. Let's hope. Yeah, I've seen that Angerville's on the Steam Workshop. There's loads of old maps on the Steam Workshop, and also there's a community map making competition underway, so it's going to be pretty cool, for certain.
Yeah, Charlotte calling out. She was surprised to see Airborne beating Coastal. I've had some games against Ferigi where I'm playing Coastal, he's playing Airborne, and that field presence that you can get in the early game with the 2 Pathfinders, 3 rifles, you can really, like, maximize your field presence and your combat power, and that's the time to overwhelm your opponent. And that's what we saw happen in Orangepest game, where he basically pushed Zulu all the way back to his base. Zulu had nothing but coastals, so he had really no firepower to try to get some of that territory back, missing out on designated defensive line, and that's kind of what happened in how things unfolded that game.
Oh, let's raid Olvedi now. I forgot about that, sorry. Olvedi is casting a show match, I believe.
Yeah, this is between me and Dumais from last night.
Oh, yeah, let's go watch it.
Yeah.
Glad I remembered. Oh, new
I have
maps
to say,
as well, exciting.
Yeah, the new maps, definitely interesting. Quick disclaimer here, mine and Dumais' first time ever even seeing these maps. We had
You're trash, you shit. We're gonna laugh at how bad you are. You're awful. Right, let's go watch.
That's what I'm leading up to. That's what I'm leading up to here.
Okay, let's go see. Bye-bye. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye-bye.